some different weights, some different size. Same things happen in life. You know, as a child, as a toddler, most everything that we are given is of, childlike size so that we can manipulate and handle it. And then we begin to experiment. We begin to feel like, this is pretty good. I've learned how to stand up. I've learned how to walk. And now I've put on my father's shoes. And my dad had size 12. You try walking with that. Takes some discipline and some training. We do this all throughout life. Everything that we're doing is about discipline and training. It's about bringing ourselves into a way in which we can understand the law that's available to us in order to bring forth the life. So as I was working on this idea of the law and how I understand it, I had a question that was brought up to me last week because we wanted to support the AIDS walk. And there was an understanding that we teach and we know that what we focus on, what we put our attention on, that it increases and multiplies. So what happens when we start supporting financially something like the AIDS walk? Are we not supporting the idea that there is a disease in the world and it's going to increase and multiply? Are there more dysfunctional families today because we've been looking at dysfunction? I don't think so. I think there's more dysfunctional families because there's more people on the planet now. 100 years ago, we had, 2 billion? Now we're at 6.5 billion people on the planet. Just figure out the percentages. There's going to be more of that going on. Now's the time, though, for us to come forth and say, we want to change that. We no longer want to have that dysfunction in there. And some of us are coming together to say, I want to create a new thought. And so always, when I begin to look at the message that I'm going to give on Sunday, I look at the questions that have been given to me, I walk out into the world, and sure enough, I have my experience that's going to show up. So do I continue to finance something that is about a disease? Well, here's my experience and here's my truth. And the answer of it is that it becomes where you are in your mind individually. Now, some 30 years ago, my first partner and I were both diagnosed with HIV and AIDS. And within 9 months, he had passed. And I clearly remember the day when I walked in and spoke with Reverend Kathy, now Dr. Kathy, who is the community spiritual leader of our movement. And I said to her, I do not understand this. I do not know what this is about. But this is what I know, is that even though I may be living with this condition, it is not who I am.
Yes.
I am something greater than that. I can have that condition, and I can live with it, and I can somehow be in this space that says it does not impact the life of who I am, because I am something greater than that, because I know that I know that I know. Absolutely. And so I know that that experience has been for me something that looks like I am here to share that there is a greater truth available to us. And not only did I move through that and accomplish that and achieve that and have the self-confidence of that, then I showed up here and I met George, and he's writing the same book about a similar experience and about what he has moved through in his life that has brought us both here together. It is of no coincidence that we are both here in this center today, because we have each realized the spiritual truth about ourselves to bring it to this. And you can bring that through any experience, any condition. Now, if you are starting to finance something out of a sense of obligation, oh, I have to finance the race to cure for cancer because my mother was a survivor or somebody else was a survivor, so I have to do this. Or if you support it out of something that says, well, if I don't, people will think less of me, you are not doing it for the right reason. If you are supporting something, a beautiful cause, a magnificent cause, and there are plenty of them around, if you are supporting it because you understand that you have received from the universe the abundance in your life that allows for you to aid others to move through the experience and to come to a greater awareness, then you're on the right path. Then you're moving in the right direction. So here was my experience. I pulled in to a gas station on Monday, so I'm the day after I got the question and I started, and sure enough, someone walks up to me with their story about why they ran out of gas and they needed some money, and all of that stuff came to my mind. It's like, I don't believe you, that's a lie, you're gonna buy drugs, you're gonna buy alcohol, you're looking for a good time, you don't even own a car, it's like, all of my judgment came up. And in that same instant, I began to realize that I was now living my talk, but not in the way that I wanted to. And so I had to regroup in an instant and say, who am I about? I am a divine expression of spirit. I live in the abundance of the universe. I am prosperous in every way, in so many ways that they become countless, because I am forever receiving the good of who I am, and I am standing in a place where I am speaking the truth, I am talking to others about the truth, I am trying to be the best model that I can be for people to learn how to move through life. And why am I standing here judging this individual who I don't even have a clue about anything other than they are standing in front of me and they are asking for help? And so in that moment, I reached in my pocket and I pulled out some money and I said, here. And they walked away and I didn't even look. I returned back to the business of what I was doing because that was not my business. And when I start focusing on somebody else's life and somebody else's condition and somebody else's experience, then I'm getting into their business and I have no place in being in their business. I need to stay within my own business. I need to discipline myself to know that somehow, somewhere, in some way, that divine spirit that is moving through me is creating this to be a good experience for all concerned. And I am not about to try to make it happen or determine how it should happen. If that individual needs to go get some alcohol, then that's what they need to do. That is none of my business. My business is to stand in the truth of who I am. So it becomes back to the individual. Where are you in your consciousness? Where have you trained your mind to be in the discipline of the good of who you are? Now, if you want to train your mind some more, I'm going to suggest that you consider showing up a little bit more often to our 9 a.m. meditation service. Because meditation is one of the tools by which we provide and teach and explore that allows for the individual to begin to train their mind. Because you have to become quiet. You have to become still. Most of us don't want to be in a room alone with ourselves. Some of us spend a lot of time